Some say this is your golden ticket to exceptional sound. But how do we get from this to this? Over the last 25 years, there have been countless iterations of the iconic Adam Audio art tweeter. But they all share the same technology, and they're all handmade. The starting point is a specially coated membrane, which is fixed onto the folding device. Then the folding plates are added one by one, and in between each step, the foil is folded 180 degrees. You can tell where to fold by the tiny markings on the foil. How hard it is to fold accurately becomes clear later on in the extensive testing that every single tweeter has to go through. Fun fact! Every new Adam Audio employee, whether they work in R&D, HR or marketing, spends a full day in production folding a tweeter. And the failure rate shows how tricky this job actually is. Not that I failed or anything. Once that's done, the other end is also fixed and the front of the folding plates are removed. Now this is starting to really look like a tweeter. Then the folded membrane is fixed with silicone on the left and right edges, and the block helps to keep everything in place. After the curing time, the membrane is removed and mounted onto the carrier. Here you have to make sure that there are no air pockets and that the spacing between the folds is exactly the same. The next step is strictly confidential. So we'll skip right ahead to soldering. Here, the contacts are soldered together with the wires so that voltage can be carried through the tweeter's circuit later on. After that, the membrane is attached to the front mounting plate, which is covered by a gasket prior to waveguide installation. The HPS waveguide was originally developed for the S series and has since found its way in slightly different designs into our various other series. It ensures the ideal dispersion of the signal in the room and minimises reflections from the desk and ceiling, while also widening the sweet spot. Then we attach the rear mounting plate, which contains a strong magnet. The wires are routed through this plate and then soldered to the terminal. Finally, the contact bar is screwed on, which creates the actual connection to the amplifier section of the monitor. And that's the tweeter done. Afterwards, every tweeter is run in with an audio signal to reduce the mechanical stresses that occur during assembly. Then each tweeter is first tested for air tightness, distortion factor, and the frequency response. Finally, if it passes all of that, it gets a serial number, and if the tweeter ever comes back for repair, we can call up the original frequency curve right away and see if anything has changed. But how does this tweeter actually generate an audio signal? Unlike classic cone drivers, the tweeter doesn't move back and forth. Instead, the folds contract or expand according to the applied audio signal. The advantage is that the ART tweeter has a much larger surface area than a classic cone driver and also operates faster, which means, depending on the model, it can reproduce frequencies of up to 50 kHz linearly. That way, in the area around 20 kHz, where human hearing usually stops, the driver is operating well within its comfort zone. This means it generates far lower distortion than other tweeters, which leads to less listening fatigue. We hope you enjoyed this little peek into our production, and if you have any questions, drop them in the comments below.